Hi, Wyoming Traveler here. In my last video, I explored two lost and forgotten forts, Fort Halleck and Fort Sanders. I hope you enjoyed the video and gave it a like. I had fun exploring those forts and filming the videos. In case you did not see the video, I will post the link below. After doing that video, I decided to visit another lost and forgotten fort south of the border in Colorado. This fort is truly lost and forgotten. The fort is now in the middle of a downtown city. Can you figure out what city this is? If you guessed Fort Collins, Colorado, you're right. When you say Fort Collins, most people think of the attractive, bustling city of Fort Collins in northern Colorado. And that is correct. What many folks don't know is that the city of Fort Collins began as a fort, Fort Collins. So, where was Fort Collins and what became of it? That's what we will discover in this video. It was approximately in this area that Camp Collins was first established in 1862. Because of the flooding of the Cashlapudra River, which flooded out the camp, there was a need to move it. In 1864, a local settler suggested that the Army build their fort on a higher bluff about 7 miles down the Cashlapudra River, which they did and called it Fort Collins, which remained on active service until 1867. Fort Collins was a log structure, and it was named for Colonel William O. Collins, commander of the 11th Ohio Cavalry. The 11th Ohio Cavalry garrisoned the forts along the Immigrant Trail and the Overland Trail, from Fort Laramie to Fort Collins in the south to Fort Halleck in the west. I'm at the corner of Linden and Willow Street here in downtown Fort Collins. We are standing roughly where the parade ground was of the original fort. Okay, to my back is the Cashlapudra River. Using the diagram, we're looking here at this angle was where the officers' quarters and sutler's store was. Then down along here were barracks, guardhouse, and storehouses. Going back across over here, we would have more barracks as well as stables, and then the laundresses' quarters were located somewhere near the banks of the river. As you can gather from this, there's virtually nothing left of the fort other than the information plaque there at the corner of the street. Except for one structure, none of the original fort's buildings remain. There are, however, photographs of the fort which give an idea of the living conditions for the soldiers at Fort Collins. The barracks, the officers' quarters, the sutler's store, and Elizabeth Stone's cabin. Elizabeth Stone, called Annie by the soldiers at Fort Collins and later by the residents of the city of Fort Collins, came to the fort with her husband in 1864. She was 64 at the time. They operated a mess hall for the officers. When her husband died a couple years later, she continued to run the business. After the fort closed, she converted her business to a hotel and a school. Elizabeth Stone played a major role in the development of the city of Fort Collins. The cabin survived and is now preserved at the Heritage Center. When the fort was closed, the government sold the land and buildings of Fort Collins, and within a few years, what was a military post began the beginning of a city. I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks a lot.